All right, so let's do a few more sample problems together with dividing by fractions using the reciprocal. So just a reminder of what the reciprocal is. So what is the reciprocal of 2/3? The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. So our numerator and denominator switched places. Then what is the reciprocal of 1/7? The reciprocal of 1/7 would be 7/1, which we would write as 7. Okay, 4 is a whole number. So as a fraction, we would write that as 4/1. So its reciprocal would be 1/4. So the reciprocal of 4 is 1/4. And then next, we want to divide and write our answers in simplest form. So we have 2 divided by 1/3. So remember, 2 is the number that we have been given. Okay, so that's the number of items we have that we're dividing. So we have 2 divided by 1/3. The 2 stays the same. All right, but we will write it in fraction form. And then we are going to change the divide into a multiply. Okay, so multiply, and you write that as an X, or you can write that as a dot. And then if I change the divide to multiply, I have to change the 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 3 is 1/3. I have to change that to its reciprocal. So it'll be 3 divided by 1. Okay, so how many thirds are there in 2 wholes? Well, there are 2 times 3 is 6. So there are 6, okay, pieces that are thirds in 2 wholes. So denominator times denominator is 1, but we can just write that answer as 6. So 2 divided by 1/3 will equal 6. Number 5, we have 2 divided by 4/5. So we're going to write that 2 as 2/1. And then we'll change the divide to times. And then instead of 4 divided by 5, we'll change it into 5 divided by 4. So instead of 4/5, we're multiplying by the reciprocal 5/4. So then we multiply numerator times numerator. Check to see if you can cross cancel, because cross canceling will help us to have smaller numbers in our answer. So 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Numerator times numerator, 1 times 5 is 5. Denominator times denominator, 1 times 2 is 2. 5 halves is the same as 2 and 1/2. Okay. And remember, how do we get from here to here? It's just a division problem. Some of you can do it in your head, and that's fine. If you can't do it in your head, this is how you can do it. It's 5 divided by 2. 5 divided by 2. How many times does 2 go into 5? It goes in 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. We used to say remainder 1, but now we say 1 out of 2. So 1 out of 2. So that's 2 and 1/2. Number 6, we have 5. We're going to write that as 5 out of 1, or 5/1, excuse me. Divided by, we're going to write that as multiply, and the 2/7 we're going to write as 7/2. Numerator times numerator is 35. Denominator times denominator is 2. So we have 35 halves, which is the same as 17 and 1/2. Okay. And again, if you can't do that in your head, that's okay. You can divide that out with your division problem. Okay. So 35 divided by 2 would be 35 divided by 2. How many times does 2 go into 3? It goes in 1 time. 1 times 2 is 2. And then we subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down the 5. How many times does 2 go into 15? 7. 7 times 2, I'm running out of room there, is 14. We used to say remainder 1. This 1 goes here. We used to say remainder 1, but now we say 1 out of 2. So 17 and 1/2. Okay, so that's just another way to get to that 17 and 1/2. And I was off the screen there a little bit. There's the whole problem. And then let's look at number 7. A neighborhood development that is 4 acres is to be divided into 2/3 acre lots. How many lots can be created? So we have 4 total acres, and we're dividing that up into 2/3 acre lots. So the 4 is the amount that we're beginning with. That stays the same. We're not changing it. That's how many acres we have. Okay, that's what we've been given or that we have purchased. The divide is going to change to a multiply, and we're allowed to do that as long as instead of dividing by 2/3, we multiply by its reciprocal times 3/2. Okay, you can multiply straight across, or if you prefer to have smaller numbers, okay, we can cross cancel. Both of these numbers are divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Numerator times numerator is 6. Denominator times denominator is 1. So we would have 6 lots that could be created. Number 8, um, why does a whole number divided by a fraction less than 1 have a quotient greater than the whole number dividend? Okay, so basically what we're asking is very similar to this question that we just did above it. So why does a whole number, so here's a whole number, 4, divided by a fraction less than 1. So here's our whole number 4. It's being divided by a fraction less than 1 because 2/3 is less than 1. Why does it have an answer or a quotient greater than the whole number divided? Okay, well, the reason for that is because we're dividing it up into pieces that are smaller than 1. So obviously, we're going to get an answer that's bigger than the number that we started with. Okay, since the divisor is less than 1, the number that we're dividing by, since the divisor is less than 1, each part is less than 1 whole. So there will be more parts than there were wholes to begin with. So there will be more parts than wholes. Okay, so these are our pieces. When we're dividing it into smaller pieces, we're going to end up with more pieces than we had original wholes because it's kind of like those pumpkin pies. If you're splitting them up into smaller pieces, you're going to have more pieces than you did whole pies, obviously, because you're making the portion sizes smaller. It's like sharing that or dividing that up.